What is up, boys and girls? Smitty and I are back today. He had to go watch some real baseball last night, so I can't really fault him for that there. But said they had a good day. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a blast to watch. But yeah, we had a walk-off win, so it was pretty exciting.
yeah. That's it's kind of it's always makes for a good time. Wondering what he was really watching there. So yeah, interesting slate last night. I was close. I just didn't have enough of the late games, even though I literally said play the late games. I just didn't play enough. So, I had a fine day. I just didn't have a great day. It was just one of those like in between. I mean, I got pitch. I nailed pitching. Like I worked up the stones to play Shota and just said, listen, he's either going to do what he did or he's going to get crushed. And in his ownership, it was worth that. And then fading, the other side of those super chalky pitchers.
Yeah, I thought yesterday was a pretty good slate. Seemed like the late games got the good balls for sure.
Oh yeah, there was definitely a difference there. And I just don't know what to think anymore. Well, today's the on the pitching slate, it's the definition of stars and scrubs, right? We got all the high price guys, we got 5 guys above 9,000. The middle pack is interesting to me. And then there's actually a couple of cheap guys I like now. But I mean, we'll start with who I think is going to be the highest owned. And I'll be shocked if he's not. Is Cease? Cease could be a must-have today, right? He's 11K. I get it, but man, that Colorado team strikes out so much, and they're on the road. So for me, that's just it's a tough spot, man. Like that K rate is just killing me with them.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to get away from Cease. I think there's enough value today that you can afford to have Cease. So I like him.
Yeah, same. I mean, my debate is, does he make my single entry? It's going to be close. Like I just, it'll be an interesting spot for me. Now for $500 less, I love Sonny against the Angels. I get the Angels have hit a little bit the last few days, but Sonny's been pretty much electric most of the season since getting started. And I like him in than Cease will.
Yeah, I like Sonny as well. I know he got killed last time out, but you can kind of see that in his ownership. So I like him today.
Yeah, and that's what I like, right? Like his ownership's down. I would argue he's probably close to the best value on the slate today, almost. I would get close to arguing there. And then up top, the other big pitchers, we got Sale, Blanco, Gilbert. Gilbert's ownership's gone up throughout the day, which I kind of expected. I'm off Blanco at night. Listen, I get Cy Blanco, started off the season hot, but Blanco should not be $9,500 against this A teams. And we'll break it down when they play the A's, but the A's kind of murder what Blanco throws. So I don't get why he's $9,500 today.
Yeah, he won't make my pool.
You're going to get an exposure to Sale?
Yeah, I think he's fine. He kind of works as a pivot to Cease. It's kind of tough to play him in the same lineup. You can, but right now let's see. I'm a little under the field on Sale, but I think he's fine.
Yeah, so that next and I like Gilbert, versus KC. But again, I kind of like a little bit lower, right? I'm more in the I actually kind of like Pavetta today at his price and ownership. Like nobody's going to play him. And he was throwing so well before he went on the injured list. And Tampa has been bipolar, man. Tampa has been really cold. They've had some decent games. I get they don't K a ton, but man, I kind of like his upside today. What about you?
I'm probably not playing Pavetta, just worried about his pitch count. But
yep,
I could see where you're getting.
Yeah, that's my one concern, right? I'm kind of watching for that. That's definitely going to be a factor. If they come out and say, hey, we're going to keep him at, 65, 70 pitches, obviously don't play him. As we're getting cheaper for me, I'm kind of indifferent on a couple of those guys, but I like Reed today. I like Detmers, again, at his ownership. There's not a ton of guys that can go out and have 10 Ks every time they throw. He has the stuff to do that. So, but it's against my nemesis, the Cards. So,
Yeah, I like Detmers too. St. Louis has actually been terrible against lefties, so I like
yeah,
that. But they kind of have started coming around lately, so it kind of worries me a little. And they hate us, so
yeah. So my three cheap guys that are in my pool are going to be Paddock for leverage. Now, keep in mind, I also like the Yankees. So, but Paddock's leverage at his ownership. Um, I wanted to go Ross, but his ownership's like just gone way too high now. Like when he was like sub 10%, I loved him. But that $5,200, just a bunch of people are putting there. And I just can't go there now. Like I can't throw him at 15%. But I like him. The other one for me that's an interesting spot is Gavin Stone. Like nobody's going to throw him today. And they needed to, eat a few innings today. So I kind of don't hate him at $7,900.
yeah. Like you mentioned, Joe Ross. I'm not going to play him. Mainly just avoid ownership. I think the popular combo is going to be Cease
Yeah.
and Ross, but Paddock. The Yankees just don't K, but he's been so good that he's going to make my pool. And you mentioned Stone. I think Stone's pretty solid here. The Giants have a low total. He's in a good pitcher's park. We just need him to get probably 6 to 7 strikeouts. That'd be pretty solid.
Yeah. And then the other interesting one I've just been flipping back and forth is Jack Leader's throwing today. I'm a Leader fan. The problem is Cleveland just doesn't K. Like that's my one like worry there. But one of these starts, that kid's going to come out and be electric, and I want to be ahead. So it's it'll be an interesting spot there for me today.
Yeah,
Uh,
some other cheap pitchers I have is Waka, some Mariners. They have a low total. Waka's not good, but he's in a good pitcher's park. So I'm pretty overweight on Waka. And then also I have interest at Rodon at his ownership.
yeah, he won't for me. Single entry 3 max. I can't go there at Rodon. My problem is he's just a 2 pitch pitcher. And so like that's just kind of right now my issue with him. For me, if I was playing GPP, I'd have him in the lineup against the Twins because we've seen the Twins have the ability to K again at a crazy rate. So I would like it in GPP, but he's not going to make my 3 max. I just think there's better options again for what those guys hit. So, and we got a decent amount of lineups in so far. I'm kind of annoyed we don't have some of the earlier game lineups in, and we got some of the later ones already. So that's kind of like, I mean, I get we got a couple hours, but it's just annoying me. So again, that Rays lineup, I get it doesn't strike out a ton. So I kind of like Pavetta there. I don't love the bats there. I like the Sox a little bit, but I'm not. I just like the when I say a little bit, I like the Connor Wong's $3,500 and batting third, and Abreu's $4K and batting second. Like that's kind of what I like out of the Sox today.
Yeah, I kind of have a little bit of interest in both teams. If we hear Pavetta's going to be on a pretty tight pitch limit, just being in Fenway, they're on one of the better parks on the slate.
Yeah, so right, that's really going to be driven. So kind of pay attention, see where we land there. Oh, hey, we got a Yankees lineup while we're live here. Let's see what we got. All right, we'll go down. Still no Cubs lineup. I'll be interested to see. I'm just the Cubs just haven't K'd a ton versus lefties, so I'll be interested to see there. The Braves, I don't know what to do with the Braves. Like the only two guys acting like they actually play for the Braves lately are Darnod and Ozuna. Everybody else has just kind of been like, but their price is dropping on a good note. On the other side of it, they still haven't brought Acuna down ton, but Ozuna is the second most expensive Brave right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I would like to target Tyon, but like you said, they've been pretty rough. I have a little bit of Braves, but they're not really a priority for me.
And I wouldn't hate going on the bottom end, like trying to get different and using Arcia, Jared Short, right? Like if you want to get a little different with an Acuna, right? Like I don't hate like trying to like variate that way when everybody else is going to try to play Olsen, Travis. Again, I I like him at catcher at $4,100, but we got Jeffers on this slate, so going to be hard to get me to not play Jeffers at catcher. There's one or two others that I think are in play, but I mean, he just till the kid slows down. It's it's I can't give it up.
Yeah, he's been insane.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really have a ton of interest in the Twins myself, but I mean, Jeffers will make my one-off pull for sure.
Yeah, I had more interest in the Twins, I think, before. Like, I thought Rodon was going to be pretty chalky, and he's not. So it's kind of, I think they're fine, but they're not really a priority for me.
And I like Soto and Judge. I mean, so Paddock's been better, but man, what he throws, they just absolutely murder. So, he's throwing, a four-seamer and a changeup are his two primary pitches. And right, we know what Judge kills, right? We know what Soto kills, like, right? You start throwing them fastballs and changeups, especially changeups to Judge. You leave a changeup anywhere up, he's going to hit it 500 feet.
Yeah, the Yankees are in a pretty decent spot. I think it could go either way. I'll kind of have pieces of both.
I appreciate that. So, let's go over. All right, now my next. This is between you and I, probably our favorite game. The Brewers and Pirates. Right? Nobody pitched. Briggs scares anybody. It's a bummer Reese pulled up, but I like the Brewer side. They've just been too hot. They're still not priced as hot as they've hit. Right? Like, I mean, Contreras and Yelich are up there, but I really like Bowers today. He's still only 4K. Ortiz is still way too cheap at $3,200. So I can mix and match that. And we know who Joe Ross is, right? Chalky Joe Ross, I like to attack. So I might even consider, like, one of my 3 maxes. I might even go full stack in this game and just try to get at the pitching.
Yeah, I like that. Right now, I'm actually getting to more of the Pirates side than I am the Brewers, but I like both teams here. Quinn Priester and Joe Ross. Yeah, I mean, I like the over in that game too.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing Priester has going for him is the fact he's more of a ground ball pitcher. But I just, again, the way the Brewers have hit the ball lately, like, I'm going to have exposure to them. I'm just going to kind of ride a bunch of that train until they slow down. And I think there's some cheaper bats you can compare, get some of these guys with to get the bigger bats there. We got a Rangers lineup. All right. I mean, kind of normal, kind of what we expect. It gets lively. I'm not really into this game today. I mean, the total is nice. It's at 9, but I just can't I just can't get myself to pay for that top half of Cleveland today.
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot of interest in that game. I think Cleveland might end up getting some ownership, and I don't really want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pivot there, just play a $2,200 Manzardo, right? The kid's one of the best hitting prospects in baseball. He's still only $2,200. He gets a decent matchup, so it's there. And then we get to, I faded the Astros at ownership last night just because I don't want to play the highest owned team. They're probably going to be decently high owned against Sears again today. I get that, but man, I like that athletic size against Blanco, man. We get Giloff back. That really almost anybody's in play for me. I like McCann at catcher. If you go look at their like splits versus what Blanco throws, it's kind of wild. When you start like breaking down the numbers there and like looking at their ISOs and stuff, like, he's a fastball pitcher, he's throwing a slider and a changeup, and McCann murders that stuff. I mean, he's got Giloff, and between Giloff and McCann, they're, both have over 500 ISOs against him. So I'm definitely going to have some A's exposure again today.
Yeah, I like the A's in the spot against Blanco. They're just really cheap too. So you have Soderstrom. He's only 2,200. Pretty much their whole team's just, they don't have anyone over 4,600 at Giloff. And the Astros.
Go ahead.
The Astros, I don't really have a ton of interest in them either. Kyle Tucker's been hot. Maybe him, but he's expensive.
And keep in mind the lefty bats, right? He gives up a ton of Blanco gives up fly balls to lefties. So, right, like JJ Bleday should be, McCann. That's kind of why I like McCann. Soderstrom, right? Don't forget about the lefties when you're building the A's lineup today. Cards, Angels. Like I said, I kind of like the pitching in this game. I'm not really going to either side. The Angels have been good to us with some bats lately, but I'm not really going to the bats in this game.
Yeah, I don't really have any interest in that game either.
Reds D-backs, interesting to me that this is only 8.5. The Hunter I'm not on just because the D-backs don't strike out enough. While the Reds strike out a ton, Slade isn't a guy that I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to throw Slade today. I don't mind some of the bats. I do like that Ford's playing today, at $2,700. He's a cheap way to get some access to that game.
Yeah. As far as the Diamondbacks, I don't really want to target Hunter Green. He really hasn't allowed power this year. His issue's been walks.
Yeah.
But the Reds, right now, they're actually my highest exposed stack. So hopefully they can come through for me.
Yeah, I mean, I get why going there. And the Diamondbacks pen hasn't been great this year. So, Rip TJ. The dude can't buy a break this year. Hey, like I said last night, right? Like when you get a pitcher that's insanely highly owned, it doesn't hurt to throw some bats against him. Cease is a little different for me here against this. I mean, just look at that K rate. I can't go to the Rockies today. And I can understand, like, I'm going to keep writing Profar from the Padres. Again, he's just in play every day for me now. He's been insanely hot. Jackson Merrill's getting going, and he's still pretty cheap. So it's an interesting spot. But I'll have maybe a couple bats, but I'll be interested if they make my 3 max.
Yeah, no interest in the Rockies for me. I just think there's a lot better spots. But the Padres, they're fine. They're kind of expensive, but the lower half of the lineup's pretty affordable. So I like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Merrill 3,600, Profar 4,100. That's kind of, if I was going there, that interests me. The Royals are whatever to me. Like, I don't hate them. I don't love them. I'm just kind of indifferent there today. And then I don't hate Waka. So and especially just because, man, the Mariners K at such a high rate anymore. I mean, it's them and the Rockies. So I'm not going there with the bats today.
Yeah, me neither. I don't really have a whole lot of interest in this game at all.
Yeah, and the total's a 7. So like that just tells me, same with the Padre game, like that tells me they're looking at the pitching. But my Giants get the Dodgers at home again. I like Stone. I also don't hate working a couple bats in from there. And then it's the Dodgers, where we're getting, give me the lefty bats against Wynn, Muncy, even Outman. Outman's still cheap at $3,200. The question is, for me, it's always a coin flip. Is this a luck sucks day or not? Or, but when he hits, right, he doesn't cost anything to get access to those bats. And I like the total there today.
Yeah, he's been hitting pretty well. I don't really have a ton of interest in the Giants. They're fine. They're pretty cheap, but
yeah,
the Dodgers look pretty solid in this spot. I don't have a ton of them, but I like getting to them. I'll never say no to the Dodgers.
Yeah, and it's just their price, right? Mookie's 63, Shohei's 66, Freddie's 59, Smith's 53, Muncy's 52, Hernandez 56, right? Like even Pages is 44. I almost called him Pages. Pages is $4,400 now, right? Like Outman just hasn't hit, but man, he can hit against righties. He's going to play all week. He was actually a good streamer for season long. So, again, if you want to mix some of those, and then right, you're picking and choosing. And that's where I can see people going to Ross here, is because they want to get access to some extra Dodgers. So I think that'll end up being a chalky lineup, a Cease Ross with some Dodger bats. So in single entry, I probably just, if I go there, I'll go one off and Hope I get the one off right to get the leverage of the game. All right, who you got? Who's going yard today, Smitty?
Today I got Shea Langoliers. I think he's going yard today.
I like it. These are moonshot. And then I'm going Giloff. He crushes fastballs, right? Like that's like the one thing he can hit. He don't hit much else. And again, Rodon is a 2-pitch pitcher, right? So he's going to throw his fastball slider. He really doesn't throw anything else, right? And if it's his first game back, this is insanely mispriced over at FanDuel at plus 500. So that's my spot I want to attack today.
I like it.
Awesome. Well, hit us up in Discord and let's go have a good day.